Good Monday morning to you. I'm Roxanne Battle. Welcome to Kare 11 today.
And I'm Brad Woodard, sitting in for Pat Evans this morning, and we have a fabulous show coming up for you. I want to tell you about it here. We're going to take a look at some of the hottest trends in home decor right now.
Pretty.
Bringing the outside in, and the folks from Gabberts are here to show us how.
And also speaking about home, TV home improvement expert Jojo Lieberler will show us how to get started on creating a beautiful pond in your backyard.
Also ahead, green homes that help save Mother Nature. We'll tell you about this hot new trend.
This is very interesting. You want to stick around for that. And then, of course, our favorite dog trainer extraordinaire, Catherine Newman, is here to tackle yet another pooch problem and show you how to fix it.
All that, plus rising country music star Brad Martin is here today. Kare 11 today starts right now.
This is Kare 11 today.
How are you? I'm Roxanne Battle. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for spending part of your Monday morning with us. It's pretty outside.
Almost as pretty as you.
This is what I love when he fills in, because he just does that, you know?
That's right.
He just charms me, and then the whole hour is just great.
My irresistible charm. How are you this morning?
Very well. You had a hard time figuring out Brad Martin's name, huh? Brad, I don't know. It's a name fond, near and dear to you.
That's a strange name, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't run across that often.
He's a cutie, too. Must be in common. Must be something in common with that name. All Brads are cute.
Oh, boy.
You know, it's Mutual Admiration Society this morning on a Monday.
I guess so. You know, you were commenting, it's a shame to kind of have to work on a day like this, isn't it?
Crystal blue skies.
Almost feels like autumn.
Nice, beautiful breeze blowing. It's a crime to be at work on a day like today. But you know what? I'm glad to be here because you're watching. I'm glad to be here because you're watching.
Yeah, that's not what you were saying before the camera started rolling. Hey, you had a really special guest last week.
Oh my gosh.
That was huge.
Friday, Caroline Ray, who will be taking over the Rosie O'Donnell show,
Very funny
stopped
woman.
by to do a guest stint with us. Take a look at how funny she is. Oh.
Leave it on.
I'm J-Lo. I'm J-Lo. No, I'm Jello. That's what I am in that. I like that. That's cute. Let me see. Can I say it on you? Will I miss you do?
Fine, go right ahead.
I like that too.
Starting September 2nd at 11 a.m., the Caroline Ray Show will immediately follow the Kare 11 Today Show. And Caroline Ray stopped by to spend some time with Pat and I last Friday, and we just had a stitch of a good time. And you know what I found out about her?
What?
Is she is just so real, down to earth, genuinely funny, but very smart, you know? And
she's very bright, yeah.
Very bright woman. And I asked her, you know, what was kind of the key to being humorous, because we think that comedians are just naturally funny. It's all about timing and wit and intellect, don't you think?
Yes, I do.
And you're just brimming with all of that this morning, aren't you?
Yes, I am, always.
You know Elson is a resident intellect around here, don't you?
Yes, Jonathan Uhas.
Yes, he is. He's here this morning filling for Patty Cake, who's taking a day off.
Good morning.
How
you doing,
are
Jonathan?
Just fine. Boy, isn't this more like it?
Yeah, nice
Yeah,
job.
you look great today.
Oh, well, so do you. And Brad, you look charming as ever as well.
We've already established that
We
fact.
figured that out. Now,
Yeah.
this is a little bit better. You know, Saturday night, about 10 o'clock at night, our heat index value was up to 104 degrees.
It was sticky, man. Sticky.
That's what it felt like, but none of that today. And tomorrow, again, more of the same. More of this blue sky and just these comfortable temperatures.
That's nice.
So, hey, let's talk about some of those
contagious.
Oh, are you getting that again?
I don't know if I can be here tomorrow.
Horrible summer flu.
You know, I had that. I did have that over the weekend, and it lasted like a day.
You feeling better?
I was going to call in today, but
Yeah.
I'm a
here.
trooper, huh?
Well, we're
are.
glad you're here.
I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got the current temperatures for you, and let me show you what's happening across Minnesota. It's dropping into the 50s in a few places way up north along the U.S.-Canadian border, 60s up in the North Woods. Brainerd this morning at 67 and 70s for much of southern Minnesota. And remember, here in Minnesota, we're always talking about the dew point. Well, the dew points drop below 65, it starts to feel quite comfortable. And when they drop into the 50s, that's very nice. Once they get into the 40s, like what we're seeing up in northeastern North Dakota, that's more like September. So we've got some low dew point temperatures off to our northwest. Still steamy to our southeast, Rochester at 65 for the dew point and 70 at La Crosse. That's quite sticky. Now today with all the sunshine, the UV index is quite high, it's an 8, so that means if you're running around today, it only takes about 15 minutes to get a sunburn in that afternoon sun. Sunscreen, sun sauce, sun whatever you call it. Here's the forecast for the Twin Cities today. 74 now outside, sunshine all afternoon. Becoming partly cloudy this afternoon with a high temperature, Brad, right around 82, and a northwest breeze today at 9 to 18 miles per hour. We didn't have that over the weekend.
That's pleasant.
It's going to be very nice.
And these are the days that make Minnesota all worthwhile.
I know. Nobody else in the country gets them as good as we do in the summer sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, now for someone else who makes it all worthwhile, we're going to check in with Roxanne.
Thank you. You come back anytime to Kare 11 today, Bradley.
I'll do that.
One of the hottest trends in home decorating is bringing the garden inside. Floral designer Cher Simon from Gabbard's is here to show us how to use garden fixtures inside and outside of your home. How are you?
Great.
Now, this is a segment about bringing the outside in and the inside out, or both?
It's bringing the outside in, because we all love to enjoy our gardens outside, but
Yes.
I love bringing it in and creating little vignettes, you know, corners in your family room, in your porch, in your kitchen.
All right.
And I'll show you just how
Show
easy
us
that
how.
is.
Okay, you always bring such beautiful things.
Thank
I
you.
want to do this to some of my shrubs, but I
Yes.
have no idea how.
And I did that and it didn't work out real well, so I suggest go to Gabbard's.
Go to Gabbard's and have somebody do it for you.
That's right.
This looks just great.
Isn't that great? This
And
is
it's
a
real.
preserved topiary.
Uh-huh.
What I started here with is a garden statuary, and
Mm-hmm.
then I've added in a potted hydrangea, which is a silk potted
Silk one,
hydrangea.
yes, not real, yeah. Mhm.
Really softens this look, and then the preserved topiary gives the height.
You've got the
So
height
see?
and the very
Right.
color. You know, you stuck that in a corner of the foyer somewhere.
It would look beautiful.
Fabulous.
Isn't it?
With some.
This is very clean looking,
Yeah.
which is really in right now.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to take this outside, you of course could use your statuary. You want to use a fresh potted hydrangea, and then you'd use this in a sheltered area.
Sheltered area.
Because you don't want that to get ruined.
Excellent. All right.
Let's
This is
talk
a
about urns.
gorgeous
Aren't they
urn.
great?
Gorgeous urn. It's very. No, this is not those styrofoam. This is the real
No,
deal.
this is the iron urn, so
Yeah,
this
it's
could go
nice and
great
rusted.
outside.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
this has a lot of detail in the handles.
I love that. You know, and that's really the thing when you're creating beautiful spaces is that fine detail.
Isn't it? Yes, you're right. And this is nice and low, so you can put it in your kitchen, maybe in your porch on a table. It's
Okay.
not too big.
All right, what are we going to do with it?
Well, we're going to add in, why don't we add in this potted hydrangea? If you could slip that into the middle of this.
Okay.
There you go. See how, again, we have a real clean look to it?
Just like that. Done.
You don't hide your handles there. And then let's say for those of you who like to add a little softness to it, you could just tuck that in off to the side.
Look
And
at that.
here's your ivy.
Look at that. And this
Isn't that
is again,
great?
this is silk ivy. Just done. Done.
Yeah, that's how easy it is. And there again, you didn't hide it much. If you wanted something a little smaller,
Pretty.
maybe for your kitchen
That's
table,
lovely. Uh-huh.
this look would be great.
Isn't this
Isn't it
gorgeous?
Nice and lightweight.
Again, the character comes in the actual pots. You know,
Right.
that's what's really going to make it stand out.
What's really nice about this is it's really reasonably priced. Both of these items are. Has the same detail in the handle. You can add a lot of color. You can just add these in, Roxanne.
What's reasonably priced?
Well, I think this one runs about $59.
And that's not
which
bad.
Isn't bad.
No, not at all.
This one, you know, maybe a little bit over 100.
Yeah.
So really
okay, so
pretty reasonable.
we got some
Violets.
silk violets.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
There you go.
Wow.
See, and you can add in fresh if you'd like to, but really the key here is to make sure that you don't hide your detail.
That's just
Isn't
so
this
pretty.
wonderful?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
totally into this. Can you
There
tell?
go.
Okay.
Okay, this is our rusted look, which is also really hot this year.
Yeah.
Depends on the color of your home. So
Yeah, I'm
let's
concerned
say,
about that because, you know, look, you got the little thingies on the thingy there.
you know, I was too, but I have a trellis outside, and this does not leak out. I was a little
Okay.
afraid of that, but
Right.
it works well.
Where do you put this in the home?
Well, if you had this in a porch, you can use these on maybe your shelves. You have a finial here, we have a pig, we have a low little bird bath. In front here, we have a potted rose bush.
Which I think is really interesting because this rose bush, the secret here is that it is
Well, it's silk, and it doesn't really look it, does it?
not at all.
Of course, you don't want to put that outside. You want to probably keep it in a sheltered area.
I can see that in the 3-season or 4-season porch,
beautiful.
right in the corner where the sun comes in. Gorgeous.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
again, this works because you've got various different shapes. It's the same tonality, but different
Exactly.
shapes and heights.
And see how it creates a nice vignette. Here, our bird bath, we could bring all of this inside, use it in a porch. I would put like a piece of glass over the bird bath if you had a flat bird bath.
Oh, sure.
Use it as a table.
What are these thingies?
These are seeded balls, and it just gives it texture. Texture is also really in right now as
Yeah.
far as floral designs. We even have a popular garden gate, which is in back of us.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
garden
don't know if you can
gates
see
are
that. Yeah.
probably not, but
Gates and trellises are good.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they come in all different sizes.
Okay.
Here we have a French country garden look.
Love this.
That's a 3-tiered decorative baker's rack. And I've accessorized it with all green. And so that's how you keep a real clean look to all your accessories. Keep it all one color. I added in just a little purple on the bottom.
Pop a color, yeah.
Right, and that's what really makes this work. You have a garden chair that ties in, a little floral pillow. You know, all of this would work well out on your porch.
Again, you know, here's the detailing in that pillow again. You know,
Isn't that pretty?
It's just gorgeous. It's hand done with the little
Right.
tassels things.
See how we tie in the green again with the edging, and all of this, if you use this outside, of course you'd want to redo the accessories in like a fresh look.
Yeah.
You know, but this is a great look for a porch. And here again, you've created a nice little interesting corner in your porch. So.
And again, a lot of character on this chair.
Exactly.
Just lovely.
Yeah.
You make this look so easy. Do you think
It
people
is,
at home can
actually.
do this? Can they?
Well, and if they can't, we have all of this at the new floral shop at Gabbard. So
Okay.
you have to come on in and get some expertise. I can help you
Of
out.
course, you knew you were going to say that. You're going to be hosting a seminar.
I am.
Let's tell people about that. A free
Okay.
seminar for using garden fixtures inside and out this Thursday from 1 o'clock at 1 o'clock p.m. and again at 6:30 p.m.
Right,
at
for those who
Gabbard's.
work, so.
Yeah, we work on days
Yeah.
like this. Yeah. To make your reservations, you can call area code 952-928-3123 or go online to gabbards.com. Some absolutely lovely suggestions. Very
Thank
easy to
you.
do, Cher.
It's nice being here.
Come back.
Thank you.
We'll toss it inside. Brad's got more in the show.
Hey, Roxanne, thanks a lot. Still to come, the colorful and flavorful world of Indian cuisine. We'll find out how to make some savory Indian dishes. Also, the honky-tonk sounds of rising country star Brad Martin, plus earth-friendly homes. It's one of the latest trends in building. Stick around.
All that looking, searching for something that was here all the time. Home is where the heart is.
If you are planning to build or renovate your home, you should know about the new buzzword in construction called sustainability. And joining us now to explain exactly what a sustainable home is home renovation expert Bill McCauley. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Roxanne. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. You own your own renovation firm, and so I have to ask you right off the bat, what is a sustainable home?
Well, my definition of it is the incorporation of newer, smarter, more efficient building materials into your existing structure or your new home, whatever it might be. And it has a dual-fold purpose. It helps us to preserve our natural resources, old-growth trees, etc., and helps us to recycle products that might have ended up in a landfill otherwise. And really, they're being used in incredible methods to make your home tighter, more efficient, and better withstand the elements and the time that you live there.
You say think green when you're building or renovating.
Right. The green philosophy, most people say, well, that would mean trees. Well, what we're saying is we want to save some trees. And with newer materials, smarter materials that actually exceed the standards of their traditional counterparts, you're going to have a better home. Let's get started right with the roof of your home. Whether you're putting a new roof on, which on average we do every 10 years, or if you're building new, here's what you want to go with. Plastic spray foam roof sheathing. It's an incredibly light, easy to work with material, but watch the tensile strength here, Roxanne. I think you can agree there's no snow load that can rival my standing on this with no support underneath. And yet, because it's so light, it adds no additional mass to your roof, and it's going to keep those timbers in line and keep them from racking because you're not adding a lot of additional weight.
Bill, how much would something like that cost compared to traditional roofing?
To dimensional lumber for sheathing, I'm going to tell you this is probably going to be 30, maybe even 50% more. But again, when I give you a 30-year timeline on that product over the 10 years that wood would have, and you don't have to replace it twice, you've made that cost up over the life of your home very quickly.
Yeah.
Right. Now, here's some other great plastic spray foam applications and more modest interior applications. Between those framing members in your home and behind those hollow stud walls, you can add an easy layer of insulation that's going to add both racking strength and a great R value to your home. And if you have a real do-it-yourselfer tendency, spray cans of our expanding foam can be used for small applications around, light switches and junction boxes, utility boxes, and old doors and windows where you feel those leaks coming in. Quick, easy solution. Those utility bills will reflect your efforts quickly.
Bill, before we say bye-bye to you, when you're talking about using recyclable material, how long before we see such materials like carpets made from recycled soda bottles or tiles derived from automobile windshields? Is that experimental? Is that reality?
It's reality, but it is not broad spread yet. I would suggest in the next 10 years, you'll probably see new home starts incorporating 50% of their all materials will be out of what we call the green philosophy, and it will only increase as the years go by. These are really better answers to your solutions. Let's take a look at a window here that I think you'd like. You have kids that play baseball?
Wow.
There's a window that can't break with a hard ball or a hurricane. This is polycarbonate, and when you incorporate this into a vinyl-clad window exterior treatment, you've got reduced conductivity of air and the attendant moisture, heat and cold. You're going to keep your home sealed better. And again, a 30-year timeline with nothing more than soap and water to maintain these. PVC piping over galvanized or copper piping because it's non-corrosive, and no matter how long you live here, it will never leach byproducts into your family's water supply. Here's my favorite product. I've just finished a new project with this out on Merrick, Long Island here. Recycled plastic lumber. This is old milk jugs and sawdust from the floors of the mills processed into dimensional lumber that exceeds traditional building materials. Decks, docks, waterfronting, bulkheads, any place where moisture is attendant or you're outdoors, this cannot be beaten. A 50-year timeline on this product. No infestation, weatherproof, takes nothing more than the hose to clean it each year. You're not sanding and staining it each and every year.
So, Bill,
the payback's enormous.
Before I let you go, do we go to our local hardware store to learn more about this, or what?
I would say your hardware store might be a bit archaic. Yeah, you got a good guy there, but check your local home centers to start. If they don't have the answer, go to plastics.org. The website will explain all of this, and they'll tell you where your local builders get these materials. Or you can always come to my site, westchesterdesign.com. I'll be happy to help you out.
Sustainability, a fascinating concept. Bill McCauley, home renovation expert, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Roxanne.
And coming up next on Kare 11 Today, TV home improvement expert JoJo Liebler takes us on a tour of one of the Twin Cities' most beautiful backyard ponds. And the folks from Bachman's are back to show us the best plants to use in and around your pond. We're talking about your home this morning. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Water gardening is the fastest growing trend in landscaping, and the upcoming Twin Cities Parade of Ponds showcases some of the most interesting and intricate ponds in the Twin Cities. And joining us now from a backyard in New Hope is home expert JoJo Liebler. Good morning to you.
Top of the morning to you.
Tell me about this, first of all, where you are in New Hope. I've seen video of this place, and it really is remarkable. You've literally transformed a suburban backyard into a place that you could escape to and never realize you were in the middle of a city.
Right. Well, we like to call it our small slice of the Austrian Alps, and it was kind of fitting because it turns out that the homeowner here, one of the homeowners, is Austrian in her ancestry and loved the whole idea of transforming her backyard with that slice of Austria. And if you take a look at some of the boulders here, these are actually trap rock that came from Dresser, Wisconsin, and they've got a grayish cast to them, sort of like the stones and boulders that might actually fall off and be part of the Alps Mountains.
Now, these are actually real boulders. We're not talking styrofoam here, right?
Oh, no way. In fact, we're talking 30 tons of boulders. That's a lot of rock to move.
So this isn't something that's going to look really nice for a couple of years and then start to look cheesy after a while.
We hope it doesn't look cheesy, although we did have to add our one little kitschy factor, and that is garden gnomes. And I think you saw them earlier in the tease. I've got the homeowner with me, Brian Turner. So we have the official garden gnomes, which also helps give this garden its alpine feel. And these guys, believe it or not, are supposed to be good luck. I'm good luck to a garden.
Well, how does Brian feel about the project? Can you believe your backyard? Does it look like a completely different place now?
Brad, that was the idea, to transform it from start to finish to something 180 degrees from where we began, and that's what we were able to accomplish here.
Well, we were lucky. We had a lot of cooperation from different people to make it happen, because water gardens are beautiful, and as you said, they're one of the most popular outdoor features that people are adding to their homes. And it turns out Minnesota is number 4 in the amount of water gardens that it has in the state. But
JoJo, how do you account for the popularity? This is kind of a recent trend, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say it's really exploded in the last 5 years, and a lot of that has to do with the exploding price of real estate on lakes. Used to be that lake homes, even if it's a small little cabin, used to be somewhat affordable. You could maybe pick one up for 40 or 60 grand. Not so anymore. So I think more and more people are saying, hey, let's bring a little bit of lake to our own backyard.
Well, JoJo, what are some of the benefits of having a water garden like this?
Well, I think part of it is the aesthetics. There's nothing like the sound of running water to sort of relax you. It's also a very beautiful thing. I've also heard that water gardens actually attract your neighbors. People are curious and want to come around and see what's going on.
Is that a good thing?
And Brian, you would probably know that better than anyone. This water garden has brought out the neighbors, brought out the curious, and I know you've already had a couple of parties.
Yep, we've had some parties already, and we've got a great set of neighbors here in our neighborhood, so it's great to have them be so interested in what we're doing here in our backyard and take some interest in water gardening in particular.
Well, in addition to attracting neighbors, how about mosquitoes?
No, it's running water. It's always moving water. Stagnant water is where the mosquitoes breed, so this is a completely different animal altogether.
And very quickly, the Parade of Ponds is a benefit, right?
Yeah, it benefits the Children's Cancer Research Fund, the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum, and the Minnesota Water Garden Association. So that's coming up this weekend ahead. Get your tickets at Bachman's Garden Centers or Hedberg Aggregate locations as well.
Okay, and JoJo, very quickly, a chance for you to plug your new show. You have a new show coming up, right?
Yes, in fact, this particular water garden was featured on the show. The name of it is called Passport to Design, and it's going to be premiering on the Travel Channel this January. And the whole idea is that we go into people's spaces, whether it's an outdoor space or an indoor space, and remodel it along the lines of an international theme. So here we have the Austria and the German look. Yes, yes. Or yeah, I should say.
Come on over, Brad. We're having bratwurst for lunch later.
Yeah.
All right.
Und Bier.
That sounds good. How about some tofu dogs, too? All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us, and enjoy that beautiful, beautiful property you have there. And we want to let people know that the Parade of Homes is happening Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Ticket booklets cost $15 per person, $25 for couples, and children under 12 are free. And for ticket information, you can call the Parade of Ponds hotline at 763-392-5937. And a reminder, a portion of the proceeds benefit Children's Cancer Research Fund. Now let's send it over to Roxanne, who is learning more about ponds herself this morning.
That's exactly right, Bradley. Some of those tickets, hi Mike, Mike Hibbert from Bachman's is here. Those tickets are also available at Bachman's store as well.
Any of our Bachman locations, you can pick up those tickets for that great Parade of Ponds.
You know, it's so funny, you'll see those Parade of Ponds and what Brad showed us with JoJo, you think, oh my gosh, I could never have that in my own home. You're here this morning with some really simple and easy ways to create a similar look instantly.
Well, really you can, and it doesn't take a whole lot of digging. If you want to do something in a container, if you wanted to put something in your ground,
okay,
you know, flexible liners are available. This is just like a rubberized mat.
And you would put this, then you'd dig a little trench or something?
Dig a hole and then line that, fill that with water. It's a weekend project. You can be into the water garden business, or like what you've got at home is that rigid kidney-shaped pool like that.
Right.
You know, those are available too. And really, you can just start out very simply and get going and get some water garden.
I filled the bottom of that with some stones and then put one of one of these pumps right in there.
It's important to get a balance. So a little bit of a pump water action is kind of fun. I've got one that's actually even mists in there. Do you see that the little fog that's coming out?
Oh, that's really great. Now you'd use something like that though for indoors.
That would be more indoors.
Again, a 3-season to 4-season porch.
Exactly. But really, there's things that you can do just to get started water gardening. Again, just a simple
just a container. Okay.
With no drainage holes. You need to have that so it holds the water, obviously.
Sure. Right.
But then, you know, you can go to the grocery store and you can buy things like watercress. Now that's great for a salad.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
This isn't a cooking segment. We're gardening.
Oh, darn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can still eat this stuff. But it will root for you. Put that in a little pot of water or some gravel. Boom, you're going to have watercress growing in your water garden. It'll look beautiful.
So set this in a pot of gravel, sit it in your water garden, and it will continue to thrive.
Grow, and if you don't use insecticide, you can even harvest that.
No, I won't be eating it. No,
we'll
leave it
just
right
look
there.
at it.
Okay, now what is this?
Now, those are a little hard to find. That's taro root, but you can go to a Byerly's and Lund's and ask the produce manager. They carry these, and if you want to grow that, actually have it upside down.
Oh.
Boom, just like that. How can you tell, right?
How did you know?
If you plant that into a pot, taro looks like this when you get done.
Here?
That's what it grows into.
This becomes this?
Now this variety has green stems instead of that violet stem, but you can still get that look right from the grocery store, probably $1.99 a pound or less.
So plant it in some dirt and then transfer it to your garden.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Everybody loves water chestnuts.
Here we go, more food.
Everybody loves water chestnuts in your Chinese cooking. Those you can also get in the grocery store.
Right.
Again, plant those little bulbs and you get a arrowhead type of leaf, just like what we have down here.
This really light colored one here?
Yeah, right there that's blooming.
That is beautiful.
It's a little bit different species, but you get the similar type of foliage on there. So you can kind of have fun just shopping in the grocery store. If you come to Bachman's, come to our garden centers, you can get things like the water hyacinth.
This is gorgeous. Now, how do you sustain those once you've got them in the water and they're growing good? How do you keep them looking pretty like this?
Are the most the easiest things to grow
Really?
because they just float.
Right.
They just float on the water.
All right.
Roots hang down.
That is
and
gorgeous.
They help purify the water, and then they send out, the water hyacinths send out these beautiful violet flowers.
How often do they bloom, or how difficult is it to get them to bloom?
Each plant, like what you're holding up there, blooms once, then they kind of die, but they send out little side shoots, little babies.
Yes.
This one doesn't have a baby on there, but they send out little babies just like that. And they start to bloom some more.
Again.
Or the water lettuce is always kind of fun too.
Look at that.
It's like a little head of lettuce.
It's really pretty, and you can get these at Bachman's.
Exactly. And that'll help just kind of start you out with water plants. But the taros, there's water cannas, there's tropical or hardy things like this rush.
Now you've got it planted in dirt. Do you just set the whole thing in there like that?
You can put it right into your water garden, or you can plant it into the bottom of your water garden. But this is kind of fun because it's called corkscrew rush.
Look at that.
Isn't that fun?
And it will thrive if you submerge this whole pot in water.
These are plants that like it wet, that's for sure.
One more time, the name of this?
Well, corkscrew rush.
How could I forget?
How
could I forget that, huh?
But there's lots of different things. Umbrella plants, 2 different kinds. Member of the papyrus family.
Yes.
And
then finally?
Well, we've got a little plant that's called a sensitive plant. And if it'll be sensitive for me, if you touch it a little bit, it starts to kind of curl back down, and
there it goes.
And there it goes. It takes a little bit of time. See?
It doesn't like to be touched.
Exactly.
Wow.
Kids love that plant. So it doesn't look like much in a pot, but once it gets growing, the kids like to play with that and just kind of fool around. Water gardening is fun, and
it's
should
beautiful. I'm going to try some of these hyacinth in my pond. They're just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to attend a seminar to learn more about water gardening, there is one happening this Thursday, and it's free of charge, Thursday night at 6:30 in the Heritage Room at the Bachman's on Lindell in Minneapolis. And again, for more information, you can always check out Bachman's website at bachmans.com. Great ideas. Plenty more ahead this morning on Kare 11 Today. When we return, exotic spices of Indian cuisine. And a bit later, Catherine Newman is back to share some more of her dog training wisdom. Kare 11 Today is coming right back right after this. Back to Kare 11 Today. We're taking a culinary tour of India this morning thanks to our next guest. Chef Raghavan Iyer spent his childhood immersed in the world of homemade southern Indian cooking, and his latest book, The Turmeric Trail, is filled with his favorite childhood recipes from his native land. And this morning, Chef Raghavan is here to share a couple of those dishes. It's a pleasure to have you here.
The pleasure's all mine, Roxanne.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed paging through your book because of the stories that were told in it. I mean, this is food that you know very well.
And this is food that I grew up with, and I wanted to do something that was different, that was never done before with Indian food. And so I wove in memories of culture, family life, mythology, religion, all intertwined with food.
You know, there's a lot of anecdotes from pure childhood. One of the things that I chuckled at when I was reading the book is how your mother or your older sister always made sure that you never left the table without first drinking buttermilk or some sort of coconut milk.
It was actually a digestive, the buttermilk or the yogurt, and it really helped in easing out everything that you really had that was fiery and hot and just different flavors.
Chilies are indigenous to this type of cooking, and so that was with the purpose to make sure that the body could digest all of that by drinking some of the milk.
And speaking about chilies, we're actually going to be doing a recipe from the Bombay street food chapter.
All right.
This is called Sev Batata Puris.
Sevatara Puris.
And these are little crispy puris, which are all-purpose made with all-purpose flour and semolina.
It looks like a fat potato chip.
It's very tasty, too.
Okay.
This is topped with unripe mangoes, potatoes, and red onions.
Unripe
mangoes. You know, you have to realize we come from a country that has 125 varieties of mangoes. And so this is just one of them.
Wow.
And so it's a combination of all those ingredients, and it's topped with 2 kinds of chutneys. One is a very potent ginger chilies and cilantro. And this is very hot. This has got about 10 to 12 of those little Thai chili peppers that you
These
see.
right here. Let me stop you right here. And that's one of the things, again, I noticed when paging through the book is the recipes that are called for. The turmeric, the chilies, the coconut milk. There's kala leaves.
Curry leaves.
Right. If someone wants to try this very tasteful cooking, can they find these recipes?
Very much so.
The ingredients, I mean.
Yes, every moderate to large city will have access to an Indian grocery store, and everything is available here.
Okay.
And I've listed a couple of mail order sources in the book that you could be in the middle of nowhere, and you could just pick up the phone or dial into your modem, and then you'll have Indian groceries at your doorstep.
And these are some of those
These are some of the spices. Some of the chutneys we're going to actually, this is the turmeric.
Turmeric?
Cayenne pepper, fenugreek seeds, coriander seeds, cumin seed, mustard seeds, and salt. The other chutney that's going to be on this Bombay street food is tamarind. This is what fresh tamarind looks like, and this is the tamarind paste. The pulp is actually extracted, and you get this concentrated paste, which is very tart, and it'll make you pucker up.
Yes, it will.
And so to give you that, this is a souring agent that is used extensively along the coastal areas of the South. And so I'll let you stir that, and then
it dissolves very quickly.
Very quickly. And
you've got just like a cup of hot water in there?
A cup and a half of water.
What are these?
These are chopped dates, which is actually going to be balancing the tartness, and this is sweet and tart.
I can tell this is delicious already.
And so once this is actually done, this is the pureed version of that, and this is extremely.
This is it right here.
This is it right here, and this is very sweet and tart. And
can I taste this again?
Absolutely.
Okay, now this will be less tart because of the dates.
Yes. And so
that's delicious.
And so it balances out. And so once I've got the unripe mangoes, the potatoes, and the red onions, and I'm going to add this very hot chutney that goes on top. And then after this, I'll let you actually finish this with the remaining puris. And I'm going to follow you with these sweet and tart tamarind chutney.
This smells great.
And this is how you would find on the street vendors' pans. Everything is done at the last minute. It's all assembled just before your eyes, and you can actually tell him what it is, how hot do you want it, or how sweet you want it.
I'm going to try one of these.
Well, you should, because these are very addictive.
Let's give the recipe before I do that. For a copy of today's recipe, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address right there on your screen, or you can search our recipe section on Kare11.com. Just search under the bread category. Now, for more fabulous, authentic Indian recipes, check out Raghavan's book. It's delightful, filled with photographs and anecdotes. It's called The Turmeric Trail, and you can find it at bookstores everywhere. Brad, there's no meat in any of this. You want to try one of these?
Oh, yeah, I would love to.
Okay, so we've got chili, dates, and...
What's the hottest?
It's actually, everything is all on it. And so it's all these multitude of flavors that you're going to be... And you need to just open your mouth and put the whole thing in one shot.
Okay, we'll do that. Before we do that, I want to say a special hello to Robert, Raghavan's little boy. Thanks for watching.
Oh, man.
Okay, what do you think? Is it good?
That is delicious.
That's really yummy. That's really good. Now we got to do first
Maybe he can read for us.
There we go.
Thank you, Chef Raghavan.
It's my pleasure.
Delightful. You're going to leave some of those for the crew.
Yes, we're going to leave it all for the crew.
I hope so. Man, that was good.
Time now for first birthdays. Wow, that was delicious. We're going to start by wishing Mason Weisbush a very happy first birthday. Why Bush? Mason enjoys eating, just like we did, reading, and singing happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mason Wybush.
And Macy K. Murch from Eagle Bend is also celebrating her big birthday today. Macy likes to take baths, go for walks, and play with her dog. A happy birthday to her.
We want to send on a very happy first birthday wish to this cutie. She is Julia Baumgart from Brooklyn Center. Julia likes to watch Barney and play with her two doggies. Look at those blue eyes.
And big birthday wishes go out to Alexander Ekman from Ramsey. This little guy enjoys dancing to fun music and playing peekaboo with Mom and Dad.
Happy first birthday to Boston Lenars. Boston is a very energetic cutie little girl who is always on the go. Happy birthday.
And also happy birthday to her twin sister, Savannah Lennar. Savannah likes to cuddle and smile at everyone. She is a cutie.
Wow. And rounding that birthday band, happy first birthday to Annika Dorbush from Faribault. Annika likes to cuddle with her mom and dad and play at the lake. Happy birthday, Annika, and to everyone else celebrating their big birthday today.
Annika, that's a great name.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. It's beautiful. Thank you all for sending in your birthday wishes. Lots more ahead on Kare 11 today. Catherine Newman is here to offer her helpful advice on dog training.
And later we'll chat with rising country singer and songwriter Brad Martin, so stick around.
We'll be right back.
I never thought this is how it would happen. Thought love was so...
What a face. When it comes to training your pooch, Catherine Newman is always a wealth of knowledge. And today, she is back to share her wisdom with one of my personal favorite guests, Gracie, who just gave me a big hug before we came on, so a little hair.
Little hair. Her love will be with you all day.
Oh, that's great. I love that. So how are you?
I am doing well.
And what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about barking dogs. I get lots of calls in the training business about dogs that bark all the time, and what can we do to prevent it? What can we do to cure it? The first thing that to keep in mind is that some dogs like to bark. So if you've got a young puppy, don't encourage it. And I run into so many clients with puppies.
They think it's cute.
Oh, they think it's terribly cute. And two things, jumping and barking. And so they encourage it. And they go, look, he's begging for a treat, and he'll bark, bark, bark. So the first thing is, if your puppy's barking, ignore him. Walk away. Don't give him the attention that he's seeking out. The second thing that's important is with young dogs, teach them to be quiet in their crate. And that's what I'd like to demonstrate right here. First of all, Grace, kennel. Make sure that your dog is comfortable in their crate, that it's in a location that there isn't a whole lot of activity, but they aren't completely isolated away.
Okay.
The other thing, too, is make sure your dog is comfortable being in the crate when you're home, Brad. Most people will only use their crate when they leave to run errands or go to work or to go to school. Well, the problem with that is your dog knows they're being left alone for long periods of time. Grace, crate, kennel.
Yeah, I'm not helping out here.
Yeah, so that's okay. So what happens is that we want our dog to understand that it's fun and safe to be in their crate. And when you put them in their crate...
Isn't that fun, Gracie?
Oh, it's great. Give them treats. Whenever you walk by them, they're in their crate, they're being quiet, give them a treat. Now, another thing that you can do when they're in their crate is give them what we call a stuffed Kong. This is a Kong toy. You can stuff it with meat and cheese and dog food, put it in the crate, and it acts as a pacifier. They'll focus on this versus barking. So those are a couple things that you can do to prevent barking.
Okay.
Now let's say your dog is barking. We've all heard about squirt guns, and we've heard about shaker cans, and they're generally what I call one-time wonders. They work the first time, but after a couple of times your dogs recognize there really isn't much to them. What I tend to do if I've got a dog that's barking at the door or barking out in the yard is I have them sit on command. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate what I call a remote sit.
Okay.
So we're going to have Grace come out here. And what I need to do is to get Grace to move away from me to pretend that she's barking. So what we're going to do is I'm going to toss the treat over in that direction. She's going to move over there, but as soon as she picks it up, Grace, sit. And of course our dog sits. Now a dog that's sitting cannot bark, Brad.
Really?
Yeah, well, a few dogs can, but most of them can't.
Huh.
And
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's not that they physically can't do it. They physically can bark, but they won't, because when you trained the sit and the sit-stay, barking wasn't part of that training exercise. So if she's following the sit-stay, it means that she's got to sit and be quiet. So by training a dog to sit at the door when they're barking, if they're out in the yard barking, have them sit. Or even if they charge a window and they're barking, have them sit. Then you can reward them.
Okay. Also, you can give them a timeout if they
Absolutely.
Are going nuts on you.
If your dog isn't to the point where you've trained a remote sit and they're barking, barking, barking at the window, give them one warning and redirect them. Bring them away from the window, have them sit, have them lay down close to you. But if they go back to the window or continue to bark, go over and take them by the collar.
Uh-oh.
Tell them
You're
no.
in trouble now, Gracie.
Okay, Grace, let's go. And have them kennel up. And what happens is it just gives them a timeout. And they realize that, you know what? When I bark, fun time ends. I have to go and sit in my corner. So you can either have them do a sit-stay, but I like to do timeouts in the kennel.
Works for me as well. All right, Catherine, thank you so much. It's always a
welcome.
pleasure. And Gracie, thank you. We appreciate you being here.
You're welcome.
And for more information on training your dogs, you can call Catherine at Augusta Training Systems, and that number is 952-892-0292. And once again, thanks so much for being with us today. And still ahead on Kare 11 today, singer Brad Martin, a rising country music star, will be here, and we're going to meet him when we come right back.
There must be a demon in that bottle.
CD, Wings of a Honky Tonk Angel. Country singer, songwriter Brad Martin is trying to make his mark on the music scene. Today, Brad is in our studio to show him a few bars as well. Thank you so much for being here, Brad.
Thank you for having me.
Who's your cohort here?
Actually, this right here is a good friend and co-writer with a few songs on the album, Mike Geiger. So.
Hi, Mike Geiger. Thank you very much to be here. This is now, what album is this for you?
This is my first album.
Your debut album?
Yeah, my debut album, and it's titled Wings of a Honky Tonk Angel, and just real happy and real fortunate to be here in Minnesota.
Tell me something, how did a boy from Greensville...
Actually, Greenfield.
Greenfield, Ohio, make his way to Nashville?
Well, I drove.
He's a musician with a sense of humor.
But no, it's, you know, I've since young as I can remember, my dad's been playing music and he's been singing around, and I guess he kind of put the stars in my eyes. So I decided to take a chance after college and drive to Nashville, and haven't left. That was 8 years ago. I haven't left yet. So.
And you didn't come to Nashville to leave. You came to stay.
Yeah, I sure did. I came to try and make a real good go of it.
You've got 2 appearances under your belt at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah. Actually, I think we're up to around 5.
5 now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We had our first televised portion of the Opry there on June 29th, and my father was he actually came out and sang. We sang the first song we ever sang together on stage, which was California Blues, an old Jimmy Rogers tune. So.
Is there somebody pattern yourself after? I know you write what you feel. I mean, it's really important to you that your music be timeless.
Of course, yeah. I try. That's one thing that I always strive to do, is write the next best song that I can write. And of course, timeless is something that you're always trying to accomplish. But I would say, you know, artist-wise, I pick from a lot of my influences. And then I just kind of come up with my music.
What are you going to play for us right now?
I actually would like to play the title cut of the album, Wings of a Honky Tonk Angel. It's one of my favorites.
You can check out Brad in concert tonight at O'Gara's Garage in St. Paul at 7 p.m. And now with a selection from his new CD, Wings of a Honky Tonk Angel, with the title track, it's Brad Martin.
Send this out to Little Tall. The music is low, and here all alone sits what you left of me. That mirror on the wall sure says it all. Just a fool on a stool's all I see. How many times have I stared at that door, knowing heaven on earth don't want me no more. So tonight I just might fly away on the wings of a honky-tonk angel. Just one look around, I see what's been found. Someone's found somebody new, and here I sit, still trying to forget, hoping I'll find someone like you. How many times have I stared at that door, knowing
That'll do it it for us today on Kare 11 Today. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight at 10 in the Kare 11 News Extra.
This week, experience the sights, sounds, tastes, and thrills that are uniquely Minnesota on Kare 11 News at 10. From sturdy wheat pancakes to rhubarb shakes, Ken Speak takes you on a mouth-watering tour of unique taste treats you'll find only in Minnesota. Monday on Kare 11 News at 10.
That does it for us. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
After the tears and the